Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. So it's time for us to begin the conversation this morning. Like I said, we need to have views from all sides. We're looking at incessant Kara Bridge crash, a construction default, or the driver's deficiency. First things first, let's go to those who are technical minds that are saddled with the responsibility of constructing roads. And joining me right now is someone who's been practicing in terms of constructing roads and bridges for several years. He's had several years of experience in the United States of America, constructing roads across various states in the U.S. I'm talking about Engineer Kayode Osho. He's joining us right now via the phone. Engineer Osho, nice to have you join us on Traffic Radio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, we've been having series of accidents on the adjoining two bridges into Lagos. And I'm talking about Otedola and Kara Bridge. And some have looked at it to suggest some engineering on construction deficiency. Do you agree with them?
Yes, they need to do some modifications, both in terms of structures on that road, and then they need to do some more of education on the drivers, especially drivers of elevated vehicles. Because part of the problem I see is kind of behavioral, in the sense that several times when people will kind of raise, trying to get up the time, and their brake will fail. And then you have all this problem. But in terms of civil engineering, when you look at that Kara Bridge that they are just expanding now, you have several turns there where people will make a U-turn in front of that. I think there's a gas station there.
Right.
And there is another place where you have the road safety and everybody having a checkpoint. So you can imagine somebody descending a hill. There's a checkpoint where you have to have immediate stop.
Right.
And don't forget that most of these vehicles are not 100% efficient in terms of the braking system.
Right.
So you have all this accident happening. It's a combination of behavioral situation and adjustment that needs to be done to the road.
Right. All right, then let me come to this. Because you have worked in the U.S. for several years, do you have such dark spots like that in the U.S. with recurring road traffic crashes?
Well, no. And the reason why you don't have that is that there is always a design based on year. You can have a 50-year design based on the construction. You can imagine, somebody sent me a picture of Ikorodu Road in 1952. It's just one lane, which is not bad. That was in conjunction with the population at that time. But Lagos is growing at a fast rate. So you have several cars, several articulated vehicles coming in, which I think, in my own opinion, that the road cannot accommodate anymore. And it needs expansion. And then the traffic volume is another issue there. For example, I don't put the expressway on, and you can go from there to the north.
Right.
Ikorodu Road is done. You can go there from to the north or east.
Right.
You have less traffic volume. Less traffic volume will mean less accidents.
Okay. Now, let's look at that Otedola again, because some have said the point at which vehicles, ascend and then descend, perhaps might just be responsible for some of those crashes that we have there. As an engineer, what do you think? Is this something that can be modified?
Well, it could be modified. You can raise the gradient.
Hello, Engineer Osho. Your line is a bit kluggy there. We're trying to, so it's still struggling to get the. What did you say now? Did you say it can be modified?
Yes, there could be modification. I remember years back when I spoke on this program too, that Engr could be modified. And somebody came on and told us it's not possible. We've seen it today. And even another thing they need to do about Engr is to expand the road. The fact that the constructed bridge is there doesn't mean bridge cannot be expanded. It doesn't mean that. But people think because the bridge, therefore, Because if that area is expanded to accommodate the 3 lanes that is coming from Kara or going to Kara, that will reduce all these incidences that we are talking about.
So you're saying that re-engineering can do a lot in terms of improving...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. But majorly at the moment, you still insist that it's more of behavioral patterns, behavioral matters.
Yes, that's part of it, a major part of it. Because somebody carrying load more than they should and descending, and the momentum of which they come in downhill in order to be able to climb. And if anything fails, you have a disaster right there. And I think in the past, there was a wave bridge there whereby they regulate how much these people can carry. But that is not there today. Everybody carrying whatever they want. And don't forget that the road was designed for certain when it was designed. So when you are using it for what is not to have disaster.
Okay then. All right. Engineer Osho, it's nice tapping for your pool of wealth on the program this morning. Thank you so much for speaking with us on Talk Time. All right. So we're taking this to the next level. He said it could be a combination of factors that is responsible. Like I said, incessantly, we've been having series of crashes due to this. Let me see if I can take this one that's coming in. Hello there. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Victor.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning from the control room.
Yeah, this is Oshodi.
Oh, all right then, Oshodi. It's nice to have you connect with us. What's the latest on the Kara Bridge this morning?
Yeah, we have relative calm inward and outward Lagos this morning through the entire stretch of the Lagos end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
Okay.
So we are enjoying a very good movement now.
Yeah, we understand that earlier on there was an accident on the Kara Bridge. Can you confirm that for us?
Yeah, there is everything is clear now. Everything is clear now. There's smooth movement both ways.
Good. All right then. Thank you so much for that update then.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, the program this morning is focusing on the Kara Bridge and the repeated accidents that we've had, especially between Otedola and the Kara. And then we want to try and see how we bring solutions. So joining us right now on the program is the Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Lagos and the President of Olusegun Ogungbemide. Nice to have you. Good morning, sir.
It's a pleasure, sir. Good morning.
Great. All right, so you heard Engineer Kayode Osho there talk about a combination of factors that could be responsible. Let's look at it from the perspective that FRSC is coming from. Once you hear of this incessant accident, what comes to your mind as a safety official?
Good morning. Mr. Victor, naturally as a regulator, an enforcer, and someone that is given the responsibility to manage safety on the road, anytime incidents like this happen, the first thing that comes to my mind is the pains that the Lagosians will pass through because of, just like the engineer said, the vehicular volume, the backlash that is always generated as a consequence of the grey lock that will be created at that particular spot, and the pains that Lagosians normally pass through. Then I always think of the lasting solution that we can give to this.
Right. So before the solutions will come, really, what comes to, as a safety official, once you hear of this, what do you think is the cause?
We have said it severally, and in the course of our research, just like the engineer said, we've been able to grade it. You talked about the incessant ones occurring at Otedola end, then this one is shifting towards Kara.
Kara, yes.
And I look at it, when you talk of differential in elevation, it's more pronounced at the Otedola end.
Okay.
Where you have the high elevation getting to the low, then coming up like a valley.
Right.
And the status of the vehicle, when they are on speed, trying to accelerate in order to also ascend the valley, that's getting from the valley to the island.
Right.
And in the course of that, maybe there are obstructions ahead, they run into one another. So I believe there's need for correction at that $10 end of the road towards coming to Kara. But the elevation differential is not that significant when you get to Kara. And even the joint, that's the should I call it the expansion joint at Kara, is not that significant enough too, because it blends with the road. All this we have been able to confirm. But I know there's a rough surface at the end of Kara. That's because from the bridge, from Beggar Bridge to Kara, we have smooth surface.
Right.
So coming out of Kara, you see this rough surface that leads to Opik. I want to believe, like he has said, is multifaceted.
Right. So it could be modified.
It could be modified, which is the process in Kara. But the major one in Kara end is, you notice it doesn't happen during the day. We should ask ourselves in the recent time.
Right. Because the one that happened yesterday, or perhaps
yesterday's was after one.
Midnight, right.
The one that the 21st that you mentioned was around after 12 midnight.
That's right.
The one they mentioned this morning is also as early as 3 a.m. Then you now realize also that it's outward Lagos when these trucks are already loaded, and when the vehicle is loaded beyond capacity, there's every tendency for you to lose control in the course of trying to apply your brake. What we noticed here is that because of this rough surface at the end of the Kara point, because there's smooth movement from Beggar Bridge to that spot, they are always on top speed. Getting to that Kara end, where you descend into the rough surface,
right.
Maybe the vehicle in front of them stops to manage the rough surface. The one coming from the rear on top speed, either distracted, either with one behavioral default or the other, run into the one ahead. And that has been the scenario.
It has been a recurring decimal within the past 3 incidents that we've had on that bridge. All right, we're going to be hearing from others too, but we want to connect also with the truck drivers. Let's also have their views on the program this morning. So if you are one and you have been driving through that corridor as well, what are some of the things that are confronting? What are some of the challenges that face you guys that makes these accidents inevitable? You can also share that with us this morning on 0809-912-0777. That will be the numbers that you can reach us on the program this morning, especially as we try to seek solutions for the incessant Kara Bridge crash, as well as that of Otedola. You want to find a lasting solution to that. But you can talk to me. Hello there, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Shola Ladipo Ajayi.
All right, Shola Ladipo Ajayi, it's nice to hear from you. Where are you at the moment?
Well, I'm going to Lagos on the approach to Third Mainland Bridge. But I live around Otedola Estate. And I can tell you that I disagree completely with your best engineer. The roads are just bad, both at Otedola and Kara.
Okay.
All the factors we highlighted apply to other routes. Why don't we have accidents so frequent on other areas apart from Otedola Slope and Kara?
So what do you think is responsible for the crashes then?
The roads are just bad on those spots, and I want to agree entirely with the man from the Federal Road Safety Corps. He understands exactly what the problems are, and I agree entirely with this. Your engineer didn't get it. The roads are not smooth. I've sent a text message. I didn't even know I would get through to you. One day I was just getting out of the mobile petrol station, and I moved it onto that loop. I lost control completely. The saving grace was that I was not speeding. And I could just imagine I lost control in a small jeep. What would articulated vehicle do in such circumstances? They would just follow.
Okay, so
they look at the roads and improve on them.
Right.
On those spots.
So what I'm saying now, do you think it's an architectural or perhaps an engineering default?
Well, it's a design default because the physical structure at those spots, especially that Otedola slope, the roads are undulating at that particular place, and it's a slope. I mean, the gradient is not too steep, but because the roads are undulating, then it's they just have to do the overlay again and make it smoother.
All right. Thank you so much for your concern, Ladipo Ajayi. I also need views from other engineers as well. I know that we've spoken with several engineers of many years standing on this program, and they've been able to also let us know that it's not a default, as the case may be, that the construction has been good. It's just that it is motorist behavior. Hello there. Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, my name is Ayo from Alausa.
Nice to hear from you, Ayo.
My own take is this. We need to look at the basics. The so-called trucks, tankers, and trailers that always carry all these heavy loads. Now, I remember in those days, we have weighing bridge where they weigh the capacity of these loads before these vehicles move. I remember they were at this toll gate at 7th area. They don't do that again. Number one. Number two, I can say confidently and boldly that 95% of these trailers, trucks, what have you, are rickety. Right? They are not roadworthiness. And I'm very, very grateful to God and to you for bringing the sector commander of road safety. What do they do to assess the quality and the capacity of these vehicles? Are they roadworthy? Do they want, being on the roads? That's why they are, a lot of beloved are killed all the time.
Yeah, but Ayo, let me just bring this. Did you listen to him? He said most of these recurring accidents happen at night, which means perhaps when they know that enforcement will not be there.
Sorry, sir. With due respect to you, there is a place where all these vehicles always load. If we structure our system very, very well, like it's done all over the world, you can even there's nothing stopping road safety working 24/7, as it is done in some other plants. They need to check them, look at the place where they are loading, check and weigh them, comprehensively that they are within the capacity they ought to be on the road. Number one, I was watching some program on the television in Republic of Ireland. There was a vehicle that was just 25 kg beyond above the normal standard. They stopped that vehicle until they offloaded the excess. Look, we need to do the thing. We need to wake up. Look, road safety officers, they will go after commercial, not even commercial drivers, the private drivers.
Right.
They check their own from taking care of all those other ones that are even more amenable to destruction of lives.
Okay.
When a petrol tanker bursts, you can imagine the number of lives and properties that will get lost.
Will be affected. All right.
I will plead with Commander Shegun to go back to the basic and they get the marshal, the overall commander.
Okay.
Look, let's go to the basic.
Right.
The assessment. Check the capacity of these vehicles and let's check their quality. Are they roadworthiness?
Okay.
I
All right.
also have the last one, sorry, sir. Conclusively,
yeah.
I know some powerful people that have vehicles on the road. They are invested in all these things.
Right.
They will not want all these things to happen. Please, let's do things, with fear of God.
Okay, then. All right.
Let's do it, qualitatively across, in other parts of the world.
Okay, then, Ayo, you've made your point. Thank you so much. We really want to appreciate you for that. But like I said, equally, now that the accidents involve more of the articulated vehicles, let's also hear from them and find out what is happening in those areas. And joining us right now is the chairman of the Association of Maritime Truck Owners. I'm talking about Chief Remy Ogungbemide. Nice to have you join us. Good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
All right. I hope you're following the conversation too.
Yes, I'm following you, but I just tuned in, not quite long.
Okay, good.
But
So
I know you were discussing pertaining to the accidents that are happening along the Carabri.
That's right. So, and a lot of times it involves articulated vehicles. Most of those that belong to either your association or the allied truck associations. And we want to find out from experience, what is responsible for those accidents that involve your men on both Otedola and Carabridge?
Yeah, let me mention that of Otedola first, because to my own understanding and from my experience, the accidents that normally occur at Otedola Bridge has to do with the condition of the road. The condition of that road is not the best. By now, let me even say that by 30, 40 years ago, from Maryland to Ojota, we were having such a slopey road there before. But the government in power then decided to link Maryland and Ojota with a bridge. So that gave an end. The accident normally occurred at that Maryland before.
Back then.
Days.
Okay.
But now that they have linked Maryland with Ojota, all those accidents have become a thing of the past.
Right.
Then, and government should also plan on how to link that Otedola Bridge with a bridge that will link Secretariat and the Baga.
All right. So you feel that road should be modified?
It will be not modified. That slopey is causing the accident at the Otedola.
So what's the experience like? So talk to me for your men when they descend and ascend. Is there any kind of feeling that you guys have when you drive those trucks?
Yes, if trucks are descending, there shouldn't be anything that's supposed to obstruct or serve as obstruction for truck that is descending. And if a truck is descending, you cannot, if driver apply the brake, you cannot stop as in tata immediately, because it's, even the sloping itself added momentum to the movement of the truck, especially when the truck is loaded.
Okay. So it also implies as well, because the engineer we spoke with earlier on was talking about the status of most of your vehicles. I mean, if the engine capacity is not strong enough, after it descends, for it to climb again at that point of Otedola might be a challenge. Is that not the case? Because someone said most of your trucks are not roadworthy. That's why we're having those breakdowns that leads to accidents.
Well, the truth must be told. Anyway, that is a layman understanding. And I want you to know that as far as country Nigeria is concerned, we don't manufacture trucks in Nigeria. We are all depending. 90 or 95% of us are relying on the used vehicle to convert trucks. And these are the trucks that are failed tests in one country. And the trucks now find its way in Nigeria. So we cannot be comparing ourselves even with the advanced country. Nigeria is a developing country. So coming to say that the trucks are not worthy, that is the language. It's a way of calling a dog a bad name in how to handle it.
Yeah, but let me bring this to your attention, Chief Ogungbemide. The past 3 or 4 accidents we've had on that corridor, especially within the Kara Bridge, have been occurring in the midnights. And some have suggested it is happening because your men are overloading their trucks.
That is not true. I want you to understand that fatigue can lead to anything. Most of the drivers have undergone several fatigues. They will be on the road. Maybe they will be on the road around Apapa to load. They will be there for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. They will not eat well. They will not sleep well. They will not take their bath. So all these fatigues, many things will set in. That is why there's need to reorganize to ensure that the stress and the fatigues of the driver, government should come to assist so that we find a way to reduce all the fatigues and stress that the drivers are passing through.
All right, then. It's nice talking to you on the program. Thank you so much for joining us.
Then, let me talk of the Kara Bridge.
Yes, quickly.
There are many bad portions along that Kara Bridge, of which if the truck is going, unknowingly they will run into it. All those things can even make truck to swap. So this is what I can say that is causing the accident along the Kara Bridge. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Let me get back to the second commander who's with us in the studio. Olusegun Ogungbemide, he's talked about some of the reasons why this happens on a consistent basis. Your men are always on ground. But let's see, from what you see, perhaps when you go in for the rescue, what have you noticed about the drivers that are involved in these accidents?
Thank you very much. At times you might not really be able to measure the status or the state of mind of the driver, because most time it's either they are already injured, on their way being taken to the hospital for necessary action or revival, and And when we get to a crash scene, what is more important at that moment is how to get the road cleared for the gridlock to be subdued. And that has been the system. We always come later to confirm in the course of our investigation what could have been the cause of this crash. And most time is behavioral, like we said, because the road has been there. Like I always make this analysis. We have two types of roads worldwide, the bad and the good road. And when you look at the road, is the way we manage it that we see it. I know there could be some structural defects, but you also agree with me that prior to these other vehicles that got involved in this crash, other road users must have passed through the same road,
right,
with special caution, because the roads are always going to be there. The vehicles are always going to be there, but it takes the man that is managing the two to be able to do what is appropriate. Most time, like he said, like Mr. Ogungbemide said, fatigue. When you know you are fatigued, and you know the implication of being fatigued, and you know the content of the vehicle you are taking from one location to the other, why do you force yourself to be on the road? The implication of your getting crashed, you know the backlash effect on the innocent citizens that are just plying that road.
Right.
Look at the one that involved 2 tankers. And the 3 tankers and the one carrying gas.
Right.
One of those tankers was carrying almost 60-something thousand liters of fuel, while the other one is 33,000. And the gas. And people never imagine what could have been the implication of that incident, if not for the series of intervention that FRSC has put in place.
Right. But let's look at Ayo's concern. Ayo was talking about your men perhaps not giving appropriate checks, to these trucks to ascertain their roadworthiness. What would you say?
I don't want to agree with that. In the past, right, Victor, you agree with me that even when we compare what we have now to what it used to be, there's great improvement. It could be that pockets of it coming up. We are talking of a nation that has close to 600 tankers leaving Lagos on daily basis, coming to Lagos on daily basis. And when we have pockets of crashes, though nobody prays for it, you can now know how significant our contributions have been able to assist. As I'm talking to you now, we have a program in place that we say called Safe to Load.
Okay.
Where we have all our well-trained officers in virtually all the terminals in Lagos. What do they do there? They've been trained on how to check the status of trucks. We have the checklist. They check the truck, the driver, and the motorboy. Those are the 3 categories. And they also confirm whether the terminals put all the necessary facilities in place to give the necessary comfort even for the drivers.
So it's not so much of a case of roadworthiness for this.
It's not, because he has said it, the mechanism of stopping or braking system of a truck that is loaded, the application of it is what we are talking here. You see, you come across an obstruction suddenly. It's not like these saloon cars that we drive that you can just apply your brake and it stops.
Right.
How come you'll be on the road as a driver? You don't have foresight. You don't expect that there could be other vehicles ahead of you. You assume because the road is smooth, the road is free, and you are going on the same speed. As a well-defensive driver, you should have it in mind that there could be some other vehicles ahead. Because when you look at the trend of the crashes that has happened on Kara Bridge,
right,
is this other one running into this other one that is stationary?
That's right.
Or that slows down for him to assess the road ahead. So is that the fault of the road per se?
All right.
Is that the fault of the vehicle per se? Is the fault of the person that is handling it? Because if actually is the fault of the road, then that road would not have been pliable by anybody. Will have been series of crashes all over.
All right, then let's also hear from people at home this morning. Your own thoughts. We're looking at it this morning. Incessant crashes, both on the Tedela and Kara Bridge. Is it an engineering default or is it driver's deficiency?
Hello.
Talk to me. Hello there. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. What's your name, sir?
My name is Kunle.
Kunle, where are you calling from?
Ikeja.
Go ahead, Kunle.
First of all, you need to re-examine how people get driver's license.
Okay.
It's unbelievable what you need to do to get a driver's license. You need to bribe. It's about 19,000. Nobody has ever seen the official receipt of the driver's license. So who are these people that are driving in the first case? Roads. What causes accident is road, vehicle, and human being. The human being factor of it is terrible. In time, can't believe that these people really will learn how to drive. The driving schools are so bad. If I take my dead grandmother's photograph to road safety, I might be able to succeed in getting a license for her.
Are you sure of now or back then?
Okay, because they do capture. It's perfect. There is a lot of corruption in getting driver's license. Therefore, what do you expect from the driver?
Okay. All right. Kunle, thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much. All right. Let's also hear from you. 0809-912-0777. What do you make of this? Talk to me. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir, Mr. Victor.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning to our Sector Commander in Lagos. This is Engineer Joseph on the line.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. One of the technical committee for 20 transport cases give you visit, visit the office some days ago.
Oh,
God
thank
bless you, sir. Mr. Victor.
Yes.
I left the topic of this morning anyway, but let me just come in from this angle.
Okay.
With due respect, I don't want to believe that word that trucks that Mr. Ogungbemide made, that trucks, someone to say trucks are not worthiness. That is a layman comment. I don't want to believe that with due respect.
Okay.
I can tell you I have series of videos that I video some trucks. Go inside the trucks, look at the efficiency of those trucks. Visit their brake system. Some don't have air lamps. I can tell you this. Don't have air lamps. And most of these occur in the middle of the night. Our Yoruba elders say, Baba Benyonwi, Kaberonwi, so that if you correct this person, correct the others well. Some roads will not be in order, like Otedela, that needs some amendment, really. But most of the part, our drivers, the status of vehicles, they are faulty. I can tell you this.
Okay.
Why? Because it has been, I have stopped, personally myself, I have stopped several vehicles on Lagos Ibadan Road with their misbehaviors. I park and I ask them to park. Some of them, they put their very big air lamp at the back, at the brake, at the back light. When you step on your brake, the other vehicle behind you, it will disturb the man's sight. And most of the guys, why they are running in the midnight is because they are running for enforcement. They don't want the safety officers to get all the they know that their vehicles, their trucks are not roadworthy.
Right.
And secondly, what are the punishments given to the owners of this truck whenever they come into crash and waste people's life, even spoil government property?
Very
What
good.
is the punishment?
Very good. Very good question. We'll still send that back to the sector commander, but let's just hear from you this morning. 0809-912-0777. Incessant crash on Kara Bridge. Is it a construction default or a driver's deficiency? Talk to me. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Cornelius.
Cornelius, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Lagos Ibadan Express Road, actually. So my point is this: if I go back to the topic, is it engineering design or driver's fault? If you look at history from say 80s to now, you see that the rate of accidents in Nigeria is increasing. Now, what caused this? One, the roads are bad. The road has been existing since, and we don't have this level of accidents. But now they are increasing because we are not maintaining it. The roads were properly designed, but they lack maintenance. Now, the other side, is it the driver's fault? Yes. At some point in this country, we derail from appropriate way of issuing driver's license. Just like the earlier caller said, driver license issuance today is in shambles. I have a colleague that had never driven a car. Just last week, he got his driver's license.
Where was that? In Lagos?
In Lagos, sir. In Lagos.
Okay.
Now, again, the truck just like the last caller talked about disagreeing with what the earlier caller talked about. When you talk of roadworthiness, check our trucks today. Some of them, a truck that has 6 tires, by the time you check those tires, the inner tires are not even inflated. And you want to tell me that vehicle is worthy?
Right.
Or you look at a car that out of the 6 brakes that are supposed to be there, they already block out 3.
Right.
Because they couldn't get the parts or something like that.
Okay,
then the competency of our technicians that maintain these cars, those are the things that are lacking. I have seen several other roads outside this country that, due to the terrain, how they were designed, they are so looking even worse than the slope we are seeing in Otedola or Kara.
Okay.
But if you ask, these kind of accidents are not coming up because there is proper training of the drivers and the vehicles are properly maintained.
All right.
So if we are able to maintain our roads, train the driver and maintain vehicle properly, these accidents will significantly reduce.
All right, then, Cornelius, it's nice having your thoughts on the program this morning. Let me get back to the sector commander. They've raised questions about the processes involved in driver's licenses, and they are fingering that as a result of some of these crashes. What would you respond? What would be your response to that?
Out of ignorance, most time people direct accusing fingers at FRSC when it comes to issuance of driver's license. And I will not shy away from that because I'm part of the system.
All right.
It's a tripartite process where we have the VIS, we have the MVA, and we have FRSC. And the system has so structured it that before you can even, in the present regime of acquiring driver's license, before you can even come to this tripartite level, you must have gone through the driving school.
Right.
That's why we're able to standardize driving school nationwide under the regulation of Federal Road Safety Corps.
So there's a kind of arrangement that has been put in place for it to be properly. But what would you say? Cornelius is saying he knows someone who got a driver's license even without...
somebody will always know somebody. When there are no facts before me, I can't work on that.
Okay.
Yes, and if you have your facts and you put it forward, how he got the license, I will have to trace it and investigate it. I've talked about it severally here. It's not just about passing the buck of blame. If you have your facts, come forward with it. If money has been collected from you beyond the necessary regulated amount that you are supposed to pay, come with your facts. But you'll be so surprised that when you are open to receive complaint from people, somebody will turn around and say, I don't want to take somebody's job. I don't want to implicate somebody. Then why are you bringing it up?
All right. Okay, then we're going to go for a very, very short break. When we return, we'll still hear from you before we wrap up things on the program this morning. We're asking the question, incessant crash at Otedola and Kara Bridge, is it an engineering default or driver's irresponsibility? All that and much more still on the program this morning. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. All right then, so incessant crash at Kara and Otedola, is it engineering default or driver's irresponsibility? That's what we're focusing on. Let me see if I can just take 1 or 2 comments before we begin to wrap up things on the program this morning. Folashade is here. Any comments here?
Yeah, we have one here on WhatsApp from Tayo, and he says the drivers are very reckless. They struggle with themselves when they're on the road. Most of these drivers are from a certain part of Nigeria and are very reckless when handling those trucks. I ply that road almost every day and I know what I'm talking about. God delivered me from their hands June 28, 2018, Otedola tanker accident.
That's right.
Those drivers are reckless and the most trucks are, okay, and I think he's trying to say most trucks are also in a bad shape.
All right, then. Okay, 0809-912-0777. Let's still hear from you before we begin to wrap up the program this morning. What are your thoughts as it relates to this? What do you think is responsible? Is it drivers or perhaps engineering default within those particular locations? Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
This is Abayomi, sir.
Abayomi.
No, sir. I want to talk. I want to contribute on the matter.
Yes, go ahead. Quickly, go ahead.
But what the people, the small boys that are joining the killer. One day, yesterday, I went to my village. But yesterday, when I don't want to mention the top name that the people just to carry cement. The small boys. See, the one is too much one. It's pursue me that you say one line. If I did stay for the one line, that will catch me. That will carry me to their company. They will tear my car. And I say, what type of, I'm arguing with him, say anything. If I did stay my leg, that you will grab me. That's the people that should do something about that, those people that sign.
So their motorboys are also encouraging their drivers.
Yes, they're encouraging, but that's the government should do about the job. The small boys that drive that
okay.
Go say something.
All right. Thank you so much, Abayo, for your contribution. He said it. He said that a lot of the drivers, a lot of them are very young, and that's why perhaps they drive irresponsibly. Okay. 0809-912-0777. Let's still hear from you on the program this morning. Hello there. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Just to add my own.
Okay, good. Kunle Shonaike is an auto surgeon. I used to refer to him. And I need to have your input, actually, Kunle. So what do you think is responsible for these crashes?
The crashes is due to drivers' error and lack of maintenance on these vehicles.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with the engineering of the road. Most of these drivers are not well trained. Most of them don't know the meaning of some of these road signs of the road. And, you know, when some of these guys are employed, they train as motor boy. How they get their license, because to be an articulated truck driver, there's a lot that needs to go into it in terms of training. And there must be, one, I don't think there's anything, and I know the sector commander is listening.
Right.
There should be a way of checking the health of this driver.
Okay.
There should be a random check. One, that something they need to be doing randomly, stop them on the road. See, do they have any alcohol or toxic substance in the body while they're driving?
Now, Kunle, you have trained several years in the United States as well, and you've seen lots of these articulated vehicles. Do you have those kind of crashes over there?
It's only in Nigeria I see crashes. Victor, I work as a truck training driver and also as an inspector with the California Highway Patrol. It's only in Nigeria I see crashes. You rarely see crashes on the road. When you see truck breakdown, in most cases it's tire blowout, and it's mostly in the summer when the weather is hot. So in Nigeria I see articulated vehicles breaking down on the road, and sometimes the fight has to be taken to these guys. They're making money with this truck. They're not maintaining them.
Right. Okay, then.
Because most of the challenges is lack of maintenance.
Okay.
And that's why they blame it on brake failure, blame it on this accident on brake failure, and so many other things.
All right. Kunle Shonaike, it's nice having your expert views on this. We really want to appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining the conversation.
Thank you. You're doing a wonderful job.
Great. All right, so we're taking this to the end this morning. Ogungbemide, now that we are having these incessant crashes, what can we do to really make this reduce? Now, we have accidents that happen by 12 a.m., 2 a.m., and then emergencies do not really get there until the early hours or perhaps transloading. Is that something that we can modify here to make it much faster?
Our response time is always 15 minutes. And when we say emergency does not get to the spot as early as expected, I want to disagree with that. Because if you remember the other incident that involved 3-4 trucks, as early the incident happened around 12:30, and as early as 12:45, to be precise, I was already there with my men. The one that happened 2 days ago, as early as that 1:30, we were already there with all the necessary facilities that are required to manage that rescue activities. And those are the things we have been doing. It's not that crashes will not happen worldwide because of the vulnerability of man, like we have been saying. It's not the vehicle in totality, it's not the road in totality, but the man himself that is managing all these vehicles.
Right.
Like Kunle have said, from his experience, he's been able to manage a system where we have less crashes involving trucks where it came from, and is back in the country. And that's what FRSC is celebrating. That's what we are embracing. If you know you have all this technical know-how, you have experience and what have you, this space is wide enough so that we can all put, it's an all-encompassing thing.
Right.
Let every sector bring all their knowledge to bear in solving this problem. You can imagine when we mention what it used to be about 50 years ago, where we had only about 10 trucks coming to Lagos. When we have limited number of vehicles on the highway, where we have the road networks that had little or no vehicles to even ply. Now the pipelines are not working. You can imagine then it's just from the filling station, from the terminals depot to the filling stations, which is about 100 meters. But now you are talking of a trailer, a tanker moving vehicle from Lagos to as far as Maiduguri, using the same road with other road users. And when we say these vehicles are, the drivers are, nobody in its right sense will allow an underage driver to move a truck from the depot into the road, because all FRSCs are there, they are monitoring this. But most of this compromise happen on transit, and that's part of what we are putting in place to checkmate.
All right, so we have to take this to an end this morning. Olusegun Ogungbemide, is nice having you on the program. Your parting thoughts to our listeners quickly, 30 seconds.
Please, the safety of our citizen on the highway is everybody's business. It's everybody's business, it's everybody's contributions that are required here. All necessary sectors, all those that are involved should do what is right for us to have less of all these crashes that is occurring. We should talk to our drivers. We do the training regularly. Our men have the political will to enforce, which we are even going to reinvigorate as we are entering the next week. And all the stakeholders should cooperate with FRSC to get the system right.
All right.
Thank you very much.
And just with those words of advice, we come to the end of the program this morning. I want to say engineer. All right, Olusegun Ogungbemide, Sector Commander, FRSC Lagos. Thank you so much for making it here at very, very short notice. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, then we must equally appreciate all of us that have participated on the program this morning. Engineer Kayode Osho, all the way outside Lagos, also adding his voice to the conversation. Kunle Shonaiki, thank you. And to you out there too, Chief Remi Ogungbemi, making this a success. The program has been produced by Folashade Adiromo. Thank you, Philip Akinwara, the social media team. Not forgetting our executive producer, Tayo Akonle.